you've got a very biased media out there. We've talked about this. We talk about this regularly. And I'm not just talking about ABC. You've got a biased media worldwide. I mean, consider what happened at the BBC. Well, Donald Trump is taking this very seriously, and now he's just upped the ante. He said, hey, guess what, BBC? You thought you had it easy, right? At $1 billion. I'm upping it to $5 billion. So he is now suing the BBC for $5 billion, and they just can't get their act together. For 7 days, they wouldn't say anything. And then ultimately, they had the two top honchos there resigning, apparently voluntarily, but I sort of doubt that, in disgrace. Interestingly, the woman who was the CEO of the BBC was actually the former head of NBC Universal. Small world, right? What can we say? But this is the tape in question. You see, there's a show on the BBC, I think called Panorama, and they went right before this election, right before this most recent election, and they decided to edit some tape from J6, and they put like an hour in between the two parts that they wanted to show people. So like at one point he's like, okay, we're going to go march to the Capitol and we're going to commend our wonderful senators, etc. But they edited it so that it would say something entirely different. Watch.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol and I'll be there with you. And we fight. We fight like hell. We're going to walk down to the Capitol and we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women.
Okay, so that's like super different, right? Like the the reality is when you say we're going to walk down and we're going to fight, that's incredibly different than we're going to walk down and we're going to cheer on. And apparently nobody even noticed it. Nobody noticed it until someone blew the lid on it, a whistleblower, and told a rival publication, The Telegraph, what had happened. So now he's saying, okay, you know what? I'm up in the ante. It's going to be $5 billion. So now they're finally coming out and responding. And they're like, no, we're going to fight it. We are determined to fight this defamation lawsuit. They write, there is a lot being written, there's a lot being speculated upon about the possibility of legal action, including potential costs or settlements. In all of this, we are, of course, acutely aware of the privilege of our funding and the need to protect our license fee payers. This is the BBC chair writing in a staff note, which was obtained by The Hill moments earlier. They go on to say, I want to be very clear with you, our position has not changed. There is no basis for a defamation case, and we are determined to fight this. I'm sorry, like, how is there no basis for a defamation case? The president has attacked the BBC over the documentary, saying the outlet changed the words coming out of my mouth, end quote. Well, yeah. And by the way, if there's literally no basis for a defamation case, if this was just all fine and dandy by you guys, then why, oh why, would Deborah Turnus suddenly resign? Right? She was out of there fast. I think you guys pushed her. Here she is as she was confronted with the news just last week.
I would like to say it has been the privilege of my career to serve as the CEO of BBC News and to work with our brilliant team of journalists. I stepped down over the weekend because the buck stops with me. But I'd like to make one thing very clear. BBC News is not institutionally biased. That's why it's the world's most trusted news provider.
Why did you fail to deal with the mistakes that were made?
And see my teams. Thank you so much.
Do you think that the journalists are corrupt, like President Trump says? Do you think the journalists
our journalists aren't corrupt. Our journalists are hard-working people who strive for impartiality, and I will stand by their journalism.
Is there institutional bias at the BBC?
There is no institutional bias. Mistakes are made, but there's no institutional bias.
But why weren't the mistakes dealt with on Trump, on anti-Semitism, on women's rights?
I'm sure that story will emerge, but for now I'm going to go in and see our team.
Do you think the board acted against you? Do you think the board acted against you?
This way, Deborah.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, again, if there was absolutely nothing wrong done, I would just say, why did everybody resign so quickly, right? They were out in a second. So now he's up in the ante, $5 billion. You guys are on notice. You are on notice.